if you live in the city or even a major regional town, you probably take for granted the services that are available to you, especially medical ones, right? There's no doubt about it. But what if you lived hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometres from medical services and your child required constant treatment? I think as a parent, you would feel absolutely helpless.
Sure would.
But can I say to you, come to the rescue, a non-for-profit organisation called Little Wings. Now, I have to be honest with you, Muzz and I only heard about Little Wings and their existence a couple of weeks ago, and we were blown away by this, and we said, look, we've got to talk to somebody about it. They provide free professional safe flight and ground transport services for seriously ill children in rural and regional New South Wales and the ACT. And their chair is Janette, Davie, and we're happy to say that the chair of Little Wings joins us on the program. How are you, Janette?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for the nice introduction, Murray.
Not at all. It's the very least we can do because your cover was blown, to put it that way, by one of our listeners. He said, "Oi, you haven't mentioned Little Wings," and we said, "What's Little Wings?" So we've done some research, and here you are to tell us all about it. How long has Little Wings been operating, Janette?
It's about 10 years, Murray, but a major part of our growth is in the last 5 when our profile started to grow and people began to hear about us and more of the hospitals became comfortable with referring the patients to us.
Because you started initially, providing services to children that were undergoing cancer treatment, correct?
Initially, that was the most common, and now, of course, it's spread to people, children preparing for transplants, for all major diseases. We now do mental illness as well, and it just covers a very wide range. And burns, surprisingly, burns for country children is quite high, and you have to continually come back to the hospital for burns.
Yeah, my word, you do. The footprint that Little Wings covers is New South Wales and the ACT. Is that basically it, or do you get across borders as well?
Well, we have a lot of children fly in from other states, and so because the services they need are available in Sydney, okay. And then we use our transportation system to pick them up at those airports and get them to the hospital, because it's very hard to negotiate Sydney traffic and to get yourself across.
No kidding. No kidding, particularly if you come from the bush and you've got a sick little boy or girl in the back seat. You say, are we there yet? Not yet, darling, but pretty soon.
No, and also picking them up, because when they've had treatment, us picking them up and making it seamless just helps, aids their recovery, really.
Oh, you make it exactly right. It's stress-free for mum and dad. If you're familiar with Sydney traffic, and for listeners who aren't, it's horrendous. But, Janette, if you and your team are able to take them and then pick them up, often treatment knocks these kids around dreadfully, mum and dad stressing out. You know, what a fantastic service.
Murray, it's great, and the demand for it's growing. Well, I mean, we're doing up to 60 missions a week at the moment, which is quite remarkable. And we also have another division called Medical Wings. We called it Medical Wings, where we go. We take out doctors from the Newcastle Hospital, the John Hunter. Yeah. They got so far behind in their country visits that they said, would we consider flying a team out on a regular basis? So we currently fly 6 missions for them a week. And this week alone, which I think is surprising, we saw 120 children out with those that had only ones with cardiology or cerebral palsy. So that's 100 children with those 2 ailments that were seen by the clinic doctors. So they're amazing results. And as you say, there's no one else who's doing that. So we don't provide the medical service. In that instance, we support the hospital by sending their teams out. So that's been a remarkable program.
Janette, not taking away what other charities do, because, you know, charities do wonderful things. But listen, in all seriousness, you guys have got aircraft. I mean, it's not like you've got motor cars and you've got pilots. I mean, everybody can drive a car. Where are you getting these aircraft from? Where are you getting the pilots from?
Well, when I started with the board about 5 years ago, we had 1 aircraft. And through corporate sponsorship and fundraising, we've got that now to 4. Wow. And then the government stepped in. Over COVID, we were considered an essential service. So that was a really important recognition for us. And we've just had them assist us with buying the 4th aircraft. And we may be in the position, if we're really well supported, to get a 5th. And our goal is then to go across the Queensland border, because in that southern part of Queensland, you have the same distances, the same issues, and they don't have little wings. So part of our agreement to increase the number of aircraft is that we would spread our wings a little further.
Some of the stats, I've just been on your website. I mean, 4 million kilometres flown since 2012. 4,000 families. 4,000 families have been. I mean, it's just astonishing. How bloody good is it?
I know, and I'll give you one more stat that I think is fantastic. In that 1 year of flying the medical teams out, we had Pricewaterhouse validate for us what the value of that was. And in that 1 year, those doctors, they saw 4,000 bush children, and 1,000 of those kids had never seen a doctor before. And 30% of them were Indigenous. So imagine the value that is. And they run terrific clinics now because we send it regularly. And you have to be running, to gain trust in the regions, you have to be regular and people know that you're coming. And when you set up regular programs like that, you get great attendance at the clinic.
Jannette,
amazing.
Take us through the process. How does somebody access your service? What's the process?
It's quite simple. There's an eligibility criteria, which is quite simple. You have to be under 16. What happens is a child is diagnosed either at the hospital or a regional hospital, such as Orange, and providing someone there knows something about us, and that's our challenge, is in spreading the word, they will say, look, it's clear that we're going to be seeing you often, and what I suggest you do is get in touch with Little Wings, and this is how you do it. So that, because the referral to us, someone has to sign off from the hospital that the child is fit to fly, and that's all we need, and the referral from a medical practitioner.
Wow.
That's as simple as that.
And are you landing your aircraft on remote properties?
No.
Okay, no.
No, that's not our process. And we've also, all our pilots, we use up to 20 of them in a team, and they're all commercial pilots. There's been lots of Qantas and Virgin and Rex and all of those, and they come to us and off A380s and what have you, and then they train to fly on the Beechcraft Baron.
How fantastic.
And they think that's just great. And so we only use commercial strips. I think once we've landed on a private property, but that's not what these commercial guys prefer. We would prefer to have a vehicle there to pick up the child, take it to an airport that we can land on safely, because safety is our prime concern. Zero harm is our first goal.
100%. And of course, I mean, Australia, the world, the globe knows about our Royal Flying Doctor service.
Yes.
Your service dovetailing in there, providing this aerial medical support and transfer. I mean, it is stuff of miracles and dreams. You know, you're giving these families in the bush a bit of a lifeline for their kiddies.
It's the story.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the thanks that these people have. And some children have been with us 5 and 6 years, helping the parents get through those traumas. So, no, we're delighted. Well, the government helped us recently. That the coverage from that is only 15% of our running costs. So we're always open to finding some new help and new sponsors, and especially going into Queensland, we'll be doing that as well.
Well, if we can help that and talk about it and promote it, we wouldn't have any hesitation. I just think it's an incredible service that you're running, and I suppose for me personally, I'm very close to regional New South Wales and love what it offers, and I just think it's an incredible service. And hats off to you, Jannette.
Murray, the other nice thing is that we're 90% volunteer driven, so we only have a handful of paid staff. We have more than 75 volunteers, and that's the pilots, the drivers, the board, all kinds of people, and they love it. People come because they want to be part of it.
Too right.
So it's lovely. But go
Beautiful.
to our website if you want to volunteer. We have a very nice little website that we're lots of things for us are on Facebook, and I think there's a bit on YouTube as well. Lots of great stories.
Oh, listen to you, all the modern stuff,
all
eh?
over it.
That face tube and Jannette, what a job you're doing. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for sharing a bit of it with us and our listeners this afternoon. Just a marvellous thing that you're doing.
Right.
Wonderful.
one thing for me to finish. We have a marvellous Chief Executive, Chairperson. She's flying into Tamworth at the moment because that's where our largest business comes from at the moment. And she would love to have been speaking to you, and she does a most wonderful job.
And that was my error, because we were going to talk to Claire and I mucked all the times up. So next time for sure we'll have a chat to Claire without a doubt. But we needed to tell everybody about Little Wings, and it's been great to talk to you.
We're grateful, very grateful for the time you've given us. Thank you so much.
All the best, Janette. Thanks so much.
See you, mate.
Bye-bye. Janette Davie, Chairperson of Little Wings. What a great service.
Tell me that isn't a great yarn.
Oh, it's a fantastic yarn. I just think it's a great story. But, there's so many good volunteer organisations out there looking after a variety of different people, but especially kids. But these kids, they've got aeroplanes.
Yeah, I know.
And they've got pilots. It's not like, can you bring your car along and drive these people from one point to the next? They're flying them.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the cost and the maintenance and the upkeep. It'd be just phenomenal.
And funded by donations largely, and government support as well, which is great. But always, as Janette just said, always looking for donors, always looking for volunteers, and about to expand north of the New South Wales border into southern Queensland. Yeah. And of course, as she said, a lot of farming families facing the exact same challenges as farming families south of the border. So what a great thing, Little Wings. Yeah, bravo.
Google it up and have a look at it. They've got a fantastic website. 131873 is our number, 131873 if you'd like to join us this afternoon.